Hello and good evening. I am doing something a little bit different here. So tonight, I'm actually streaming this on YouTube and Facebook. So if you're seeing me on Facebook, hello, you probably already know me. If you're seeing me on YouTube, you probably don't know me. And so my name is Rebecca Valera, and I am a real estate agent here in McKinney, Texas. And today I'm going to be focusing in on kind of just senior living and senior lifestyle here in North Texas. And then also we're going to talk a little bit about Oregon. And I have a special guest from Oregon. I'll let her introduce herself and say where she's from.
Hey, my name is Nora Spangler, and I'm with Rogue Real Estate, and I'm in Bend, Oregon. So that's Central Oregon, kind of over the mountains from Portland.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's nice. So where is Portland, geographically, and where is Bend? Is it more on the north side, south side, east, west?
Bend is kind of like right in the middle.
Okay,
we're
right in the
Central
middle.
Oregon, so there's a bunch to the east of us that's more deserty. We are a high desert, so it's a big change from once you come over the mountains from Portland. Portland is about a little more than 3 hours drive toward the coast, so west of us. Pretty much, we're a little south and east of Portland, so I have family over there. I drive over pretty often, so it's an easy drive.
Oh, cool. So, for those of you that don't know me or Nora, we're going to focus on 55 plus communities. So, if retirement is in your future, which for most people, even for me, it's going to be down the road, and thinking about retirement now and what your plans are could be a benefit to you. So, we're going to be focusing on retirement communities today. To kind of start us off, we're going to, I've got a lot of people joining us from YouTube and also from Facebook saying hey. So just going to, Ashley was saying hey, and then the story group over in Fort Worth, they're saying hey. They're my Fort Worth partners over there.
Oh, cool.
So Dallas is not small, and it's a big metro area, very different from Bend, Oregon. And this whole thing kind of started when you and I started talking about, what should we talk about? What would people be interested in learning about when it comes to both Texas and Oregon? And you kind of put it really good, and you were just like, okay, well, we're thinking about either staying here and retiring in Oregon, or we're going to just, move to Texas. So I'll just start there and let you kind of go from there, and maybe just share with people what your their thoughts were about either staying in Bend where you're at, or potentially moving to Texas when you retire, and just go from there.
All right. Well, my husband grew up in Texas, and so of course he wants to move back home. But it's really hard to leave all the things that I love about Bend, which are the beautiful mountains, the rivers. I love the dry, high desert climate that we have. I've been to Texas a lot, to your area, Rebecca. And it can be humid and really hot. And so I love the kind of 4 seasons weather that we have here. We get, like right now, we just started getting quite a bit of snow. So that's fun. There's always tons of stuff to do outside. Some of the negatives and why we might consider leaving when we are ready to retire would be just the general cost of living. And also, Texas does not tax your retirement money. So like from your IRA, when you start pulling money out, and Oregon does. So that's probably about a 9 or 10% difference that, to live here, it's going to cost that much more just for taxes. So it's not fun to think about, but my heart, when I think of home, Texas is not home to me. So it's hard to make that choice just based on the dollar.
Mhm.
There's more to life than just how much it costs. So
Yeah.
we'll see.
But so, are you originally from Oregon? Is that where you're from, or you just been there for the longest period of time? Would you say?
Yeah, I grew up in Southern California only through high
Okay.
school. Then I moved to Portland. So I
Okay.
lived in Portland. Well, after college, there's a few years in there, but after college, I moved to Portland and lived there for about 12 years. And then I moved to Seattle and was there for about 15. So I'm a Northwest, girl. I love the
Okay.
mountains and the rivers and the trails. And so Texas is just weird to me. It's an acquired taste, I think. When you're not used to it, it's just very different. And yeah, we chose to move to Bend because we liked the weather and
Okay.
all the things about it. And so yeah, I've been in the Northwest for most of my adult life. So Oregon
Okay.
feels like home to
More
me.
like home.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So would you say you don't miss, or you miss, would you say, would you miss the snow if you were to ever move to Texas? Is the snow something that you enjoy or not so much?
I don't appreciate the cold temperature so much, like when it's
Hmm.
10 degrees and,
Yeah.
I'm not going to walk my dog. I'm sorry. It's like it has to be
Yeah.
over 40 for me to want to take the dog out. I did do it. It was about 35 the other day and I walked my dog. So, um,
That's not terrible.
but
Yeah.
it's really dry snow, like the snow that falls is really dry. So we go snowshoeing and just it's not that bad really, but the older I get, the less I enjoy the winter months. So
Hmm.
if we could afford, if it's possible to live here, but like have a little condo over in, Cancun
Yeah.
or Mexico or something where we could just take off for a couple months, that would be ideal.
Most ideal. Yeah.
So
Um,
we'll
and
see.
I guess here in Texas, yes, I mean, it is equally as hot as it is cold there. I mean, we can see triple
Yeah.
digit heat for quite a while. So even though it's a warmer climate, I mean, it's in the summertime, it can get really hot. So if you're, it's a pretty extreme heat. It's a very dry heat, though, especially in North Texas. There will be some humidity that will come through like before rain, and you may have a handful of humid days, but in general, the weather is, I mean, we're experiencing like 40 and 50 degrees right now. The cold rain sometimes, that just kind of chills you to the bone anywhere you are. So we get a little bit of that here, and we have pretty mild winters. So that's kind
Yeah.
of the biggest benefit. We do miss snow. I miss seeing snow. We had a brief snow to
You
where
can
it
do
didn't.
a house swap, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Come
I had a
here
retirement house
and we'll
swap,
go there.
and right. Yeah, for a certain day, certain months out of the
Mhm.
year. No,
Yeah.
I think that would be good. Retirement wise, though, for those looking to retire, we do not have state income tax. So that is a really big draw, I think, for a lot of people. It is the money factor, but if he already has family here in Texas, then I can see why his ties would be here too.
Mhm.
So that would make him, give him more comfort. Maybe not necessarily you more comfort, but him more comfort. Um, but I mean, to beat the heat, I mean, there are lots of things for people to do here in Texas. There are plenty of pools, plenty of places to just kind of cool down in the summertime. And a lot of people will just stay indoors. But go ahead.
But the last time we were in Texas, I forget what time of year it was, but it was hot. But I think it was only
Uh,
like April or something. It wasn't
okay.
summer because we never come in the summer. And we went
Yeah.
for a hike. It was like in the 90s, I think. I was sweating. It was hot. And
Yeah.
my legs got completely chewed up by mosquitoes. And
Yeah.
it was just horrible. I mean, here I can hike all the time. I never have to put bug repellent on really, unless we go camping somewhere specifically around water, like
Mhm.
a lake or something, then I would wear it. But I just
Yeah.
don't get chewed up like that. And it was not fun. And
That is true. So even because I used to work at a summer camp in East Texas,
mm,
and in the we would just like we would spray it on pretty thick. I mean, you just when you go outside, you just put on bug spray. It's a part of the culture
yeah,
here. That is a big downfall. Just for during the summer, I would say in the warmer months, when it's nice and cool and crisp and 50, like in the winter, it's great.
yeah,
You can go outside. There's no bugs or anything like that. So that's a good point though. I will say I've heard that if you eat a little bit more garlic or take a garlic supplement, that's supposed to help with the mosquitoes. I was like a mosquito magnet for whatever reason whenever I was in college, and my mom was like, just try a little bit more garlic and that'll help. And sure enough, I felt like it did help. So I don't know if it was like a mental thing or if it was, because when you feel like you have bugs on you, they're just you can't get that feeling out of your head for whatever reason. But but yeah, I mean, if you are,
yeah.
bugs or anything, I think allergies too. Have you experienced any allergies when you
Mm.
visit Texas? Because that is another big downside is you deal with maybe some allergies that you didn't realize you had to certain trees or fungal things that are here
Hmm.
because we are a warmer climate. So
Mhm.
have you experienced any of those firsthand? Any like allergies
No,
or anything like
I don't. I'm not an allergenic person.
You're not allergic to a lot of things? Okay.
No, I'm not. But I have, so here, the allergies that people can have are more, because someone just asked me about that. Because I work with a lot of people that are relocating here, which is happening a lot lately,
Right.
especially with the whole remote working situation, not just
Right.
retiring, that as well, but a lot of
Mhm.
remote workers. So someone
Mhm.
asked me about allergies, and what we have, juniper trees
Mhm.
or bushes and pine a lot, like everything in the spring you'll see this coating of yellow dust everywhere, that it just falls and you
Yeah.
can just see it everywhere.
Yeah.
Not for long, but yeah,
Mhm.
if you have sensitivity, to tree allergies, you should probably check if you're allergic to juniper or pine. We don't typically, or even hay, a lot of the areas, the farming areas. So if you're outside
Mhm.
town, they're doing hay, hay or hemp. That's pretty much what we grow here is hay and hemp. Or
Yeah.
if you want weed, you can find it anywhere you want. Um,
Mhm.
but for allergies, sometimes they don't appear until you've been here a while, and then it's like, oh my gosh. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. To kind of steer us in a little bit different direction. Sorry, I kind of gave us on. We're talking about some of the cons of living here in Texas and seeing how similar that is to Oregon. But I guess one of the pros here, not only do you get save money with the state income tax when it comes to your retirement, but also the cost of living is a whole lot cheaper. Starting price point. I mean, you can really it really just depends. Texas is so big, and there's different parts of Texas. We have different regions, and I'll pull up a map here in a little bit and kind of talk about the different regions. And what part of Texas is your husband's family from? Do you know? Are they
We're
from
in
Dallas?
Bedford, so
Bedford. Okay, I know where that is.
Fort Worth. Yeah, we've been looking
California.
kind of at the what is it, the prairie, the east, kind of east of there.
Grand
The
Prairie.
the
Grand Prairie. Grand Prairie.
not that doesn't ring, but like and even out east, like the Piney Woods area.
Yes.
Kind
Yeah.
of farther.
Further east.
I don't want to be
North.
anywhere near Dallas.
Yeah. In the city, the big city.
No, I've gotten used
No
to
big.
this kind of life. We're about 100,000 people. We have everything you need. Enough shopping, restaurants. Pretty much everything is here, and it's just the right size. So,
Yeah. So here in Texas, let me see if I can get a map pulled up so we
hmm.
kind of see. Let's, I guess a physical map. This will probably look in here. Looking through images, sorry guys.
I just ordered one of those tourism books, so I can go grab it and hold up the Texas map if you want.
I'm going to share my screen here in just a second. I'm pulling up some, okay, maybe topographic maps, not the right thing. But anyways, the starting price as far as purchasing a property, I mean, you can find something here in Texas for probably, if you go further out, which is most people that retire want to be a little bit further away from the city. So if you go further outside of town, you could probably get something for maybe that 200 to 250 threshold to just kind of start you off. If you want to be closer to the city and closer to shopping, which some retirees do want that kind of a lifestyle, then it's going to be a little bit more expensive. You're probably looking starting price, close to 300,000 for something that you're going to really want to be in, as far as it doesn't necessarily have to be a 55 plus, but $300,000 should get you something pretty decent. And because you're not tied to the school system, I mean, you're able to look in other areas in other parts of town that are maybe a little bit more affordable. And if you're looking further out, you're getting that same affordability as well. So there's a big plus to not being tied to a specific school system when it comes to retirement, whether you're anywhere in Texas. So that's kind of a big plus here. Mm-hmm. What does the starting price look like for Bend?
Well, the pandemic has greatly altered that price. It used to be you could find a small home in town or even something outside of town on a little bit of land or a larger lot for, maybe $350 up to $400 would do you pretty good. Now, anything under $400 is pretty not very desirable, let's just say. Not move-in ready, like it needs fixing, and it's either not in a good location, there's a railroad track, next to it, or, it's not in really a place that as a retired person, you'd probably want to live. So you probably have to go up to the mid 400s or higher at really, 450 to 500 would put you in a okay position, in Bend.
Yeah, in Bend. But then it's like you get the mountains. So it's like you get all the scenic beauty that's there. You get 4 full seasons. You get the mountains. Apparently there's less mosquitoes, or very few.
Very few, yeah.
So even though you're paying more, you're paying for that type of a lifestyle. And I think that's important for people to realize and understand.
Yeah, people choose to live here for exactly that reason. For hiking, biking, right, rock climbing, the lakes, Cascade Lakes, the beautiful scenery. I mean, everything is really close as well. So people from California or, any other really populated area are always surprised at like how quick you can get everywhere. Like I throw my dog in the back of my car and drive about 10 minutes to my favorite off-leash dog area where you can let your dog run and you just walk and you end up at the Deschutes River, and it's just so gorgeous. It's like, it's just good for your soul, and that's like 2 miles outside the edge of town, it's like so close. And then there's just, everything is really a reasonable amount of driving if you need to drive at all. If it's not like outside your front door, then it's not very far. Everything is really close. And that's, it's just a nice change from living in, I've been in Texas and I've driven through Dallas traffic.
Yeah.
Sat in the car for, an hour and a half just trying to get somewhere. And we don't even have a freeway in Bend. It's a highway. And the speed limit is 45.
45. Wow, that's fast.
No, people don't drive 45 though.
Yeah.
60.
So I was able to get a map, and I'm sorry that the stream didn't. I was trying to pull it up, but I just kind of want to share on the map, kind of what, let me see if I can zoom in a little bit. Well, no, that didn't work. Hang on. Let me try to.
You probably have to click the link to it and then it'll open. Yeah.
Let's see. Maybe this one will, it's a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
And maybe it'll go to a good website that's, there we go. Can you see the big map now? Well,
yeah.
Maybe I'm not sharing the right screen.
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay. So you can see can you see my mouse going in a circle?
Nope.
Okay, it's okay. All right, so now can you see it? Okay, so the North Central Plains, this is kind of where Dallas-Fort Worth and that area is. So we're up in here. So most of the area is going to be flat. So don't expect mountains. Don't expect plateaus, hills. I mean, there's a couple of hills here and there, but if you're moving to Texas from some place such as beautiful as Colorado or Bend, like you're just not going to find it in Dallas. You know, I'm going to let you know this right out the gate, right? So we're not playing around here. Let me see if I can, man, this is collection, bookmark. What's this? Okay. Yeah. Oh, I know what I have to do. Maybe
You'd have to click that link and then it'll open up another window. Open
image, a new tab.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I think if I shift okay, let me stop sharing this. Sorry guys, we're little tech, I have some tech issues here that I'm trying to, maybe if I just share my entire application window, that would be easy. Yeah, that's probably for the best. So you can kind of see what we're looking at here. All right, so I know you can see this. Can you see the big map now?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So this North Central Plains region, I mean, it's going to be flat. Now, this is where Plano and Dallas are. So where my mouse is hovering, this is where Dallas is. So we're on the edge of the North Central Plains and more of the Gulf Coast and the piney woods. So you can see this picture right here where there's, you know, big, tall, beautiful pine trees. That's going to be on the, I guess, south part, or I guess East Dallas. If you keep going further east on your way to Shreveport and you get to Tyler, I mean, this is close to what you're going to be seeing. You're going to be seeing a lot of nature. It's more foresty. So if you're okay with a couple of hills and foresty, and also it's great affordability over there in Tyler and East Texas. It's way more affordable than DFW, but it is more of a small kind of hometown kind of feel. You do have a couple of shopping areas and a couple of things to do, but other than that, there's really not a whole lot to do unless you're going to be hiking, biking, and, you know, doing a lot of things outdoors. I mean, that's really the place for you if you love that small, intimate community. If you want to still be close to the city, however, you're going to want to look closer to the metro area of Dallas and Fort Worth, because there, I mean, there's so many things to do. There's so much shopping. I would say if you drive outside of Dallas about an hour, you can get to more of the country setting. So my mom lives in right on the Maybank Kemp border. She's in Kaufman County, which is like one of the south quadrants of DFW. So let me see if I can pull up a map really quick. Dallas map. Okay. It's just so you can kind of get an idea of where I'm talking about. So she actually lives, it's not a designated retirement community, but she lives, come on, map. All right, so she's right about Scurry Kaufman. She's right over here, close to Kemp and Maybank. So there is a lake over here. This is a very popular retirement spot right by this lake. As a kid, we used to go there several times out of the summer and, you know, do a lot of, my aunt had a little houseboat out there and, or not a houseboat, a little house right by the lake. There we go. I'm trying to get my words out here. So this area is a very popular place to retire. Her community specifically has a golf course out there, so you could golf. You're close enough to the lake to where you could drive out there and you could boat there. You could go fish there. You're further outside of the city. I would say the closest, Maybank's a pretty big city. It's still kind of small townsy, but your closest, I guess, like Walmart and big grocery stores are going to be in Kaufman. And the drive is about 15 minutes, just so you can kind of get an idea. It takes her about 15, 20 minutes to get from right here in between Kemp and Main all the way to Kaufman, where a little bit more civilization is. Now, are you going to get a whole bunch of shopping, in Kaufman? Not really. I mean, there's a couple of mom and pop shops, and, if you're looking for like more of a mall, like you need to go shopping at a mall, you're probably going to have to drive in about an hour into town. There are a couple of malls in movie locations in Mesquite. There's some in Forney if you want to go that way. There's some outlet malls over here in Terrell, but you are a lot more removed from the community. And so as a result of being removed from the community, you're just a lot closer. It just really depends on what your goals are when it comes to retirement. Do you want to be in the city? Do you want to be further outside of town? And I think that's a big question when you're retiring. You really need to figure out, because I've seen a lot of people that get into some of these 55 plus communities and then they regret being in those 55 plus communities because of all the gossip. And yes, there are plenty of activities and things to do within the community, but at the same time, and you're around people your age, which is another benefit of being in a 55 plus community. And that, but it's kind of has that small town feel within that community. And everybody usually knows everybody's busy. It's a trap, like that, famous meme from Star Wars, right? So I would say that affordability, yes, we have that. If you want to be close to like a lake, lake is a great place, especially when it gets hot in Texas. Yes, we do have some of the bugs, but if you enjoy things like boating and water skiing and really want to take advantage of like the lake and that kind of lifestyle as you retire, Texas does have quite a few opportunities. And there's even more opportunity. There's Lake Tawakoni, that's even further east, close to that big piney woods area. If you want to get a little bit more expensive, let me kind of pull up this map again so you can kind of see really quick. Oh goodness. Okay, I wish there was a better way. I need to find a better way to navigate my stuff. Okay. So if you get closer to San Antonio and Austin, you notice you kind of right where San Antonio and Austin are, you'll start to see more of hill country. So when they talk about the Texas hill country, that's going to be right around that San Antonio, Austin area, like right here where you've got, Great Plains and you got mountains and basins, but like where the Gulf, and this is not actually a good map to be completely honest, because the hill country is like right here where that San Antonio, Austin area is. If you wanted to live closer to the coast, we've got Galveston here, we've got Corpus Christi, we have Brownsville a little bit closer to Mexico. We have, what is it, the island, what is the name of the island that you wanted to have a vacation home at called? What was it called? I can't think of it. People go on spring break.
Oh, Cancun?
Cancun. So if you wanted to have a little Cancun spot and you lived in Austin or just go to Cancun for a certain period of time, certain days out of the year. So, and I think that's pretty popular. Some of the people that I've talked to that are relocating here to retire, they're retiring and wanting to be closer to grandkids, wanting to be closer to other family members, or maybe I have one person who wants a home here in McKinney, and then they also want another home in India, and I think because they have family in both places. So I have lots of family members that are Filipino, and they have a home here in Texas, and then they have a home in the Philippines, And what they'll do is 6 months out of the year, they'll be in the Philippines, and then the other 6 months out of the year, they'll be here in the States. So you can have, with Texas too, I guess a lot of people don't realize this, but you don't have to, what am I trying to say? You don't have, you can purchase land in Texas no matter what. So if you're a resident in Mexico, you can purchase land in Texas. If you're a resident in Canada, you can purchase land in Texas. If you're a resident in another state, you can purchase land in Texas. There's some states that are a little bit more restrictive when it comes to purchasing land. I think Tennessee has a couple of laws on their books.
That would make sense.
And some other places. It's Tennessee, yeah. But does Bend have any type of restriction when it comes to like purchasing? If I wanted to purchase some property through you today, I could.
Yeah, I sell to out of state people all the time. In fact, I just had a listing and we're under contract on it, and the owners they're dual citizens, so they're Canadian and American citizens. But yeah, they're fleeing America, going back to Canada. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
But no, anyone can buy. I've sold lots of property to people from out of state.
Mm-hmm. Would you say that retirees, those that are looking to retire in Oregon, are they wanting a big house, a little house, just in general? What have you seen? And are there any 55 plus communities there? Is that a thing or not really?
Probably not as much as in your area. The one place I'm thinking of is a really nice place. It's right along the Deschutes River. It's on the southwest side of town, and it has all the way from individual single family homes that you can purchase, and then in their system, you can go all the way to the nursing facility with memory care if you need it. So it's kind of the full meal, plan. If you need those services, they're there. But I've never seen those come into the MLS, so I'm not really sure how those. I think you just show up at the place. It's called Touchmark. And I think you just show up there, and then they sell you, whatever package that you want, if they have anything available. But I think for the most part, when people retire to Bend, a lot of times they want to live in one of the golf courses. That's pretty popular. We have a lot of them in town, or you can go outside of town a little bit, but it's not a complete retirement community. So you're going to have families and all kinds of people, but the age range tends to be older. There's one in particular called Widgie Creek. It's just west toward Mount Bachelor on the road that goes from Bend to Bachelor. And that one seems pretty popular with retired people, or almost to be retired people. And you do from townhomes, there are smaller homes, but then there's kind of the large, like, 3,000 to 4,000 square foot. I don't know how you find each other in a house like that, but, plenty of room for the people to visit. And then you've got the golf course, and you probably have a clubhouse and a pool and, some other amenities as well. And they're like gated, so there's more security, but we have probably 9 or 10 of those in the area. Other than that, when I think 55 plus, like, we have some mobile home communities, which I'm actually working with a client now because it just fits their budget. And, they have some disability issues, so they're really trying to really lower, their future expenses. So they're looking at a mobile home that's in a park. So then you have a big park fee, like between $600 and $700 a month, just for,
the rent lot, their lot rent.
Yeah. It's not real estate. It's actually personal property. But my office has the license to do that, so I can offer them that service. But there is that option. Or there's also go outside of town and find a manufactured home that's on land. So a lot of people do that.
Okay.
Other communities around Bend that are less expensive, both for homes or if you want some land. So, there's just, we have pretty much every range, from, we have lower price points, like you were saying, 200,000 and 300,000, but you would be not in Bend. You would have to go either north or south to get those. So if you really like Bend and all of the fun activities and non-COVID pandemic times, we have all kinds of concerts and, athletic events and, food events, and just everything is happening in Bend. It's a fun place to be if you want stuff to do.
Yeah. So kind of to parallel that. So here in Texas, let me see if I can share. No. Okay. Well, here's one of them. This is a pretty popular one. This is called Robeson Ranch. It's in Denton, which is a part of North Texas.
I've been to Denton.
You've been to Denton. Okay. So Denton is a college town. There's 2 colleges in Denton, but just outside of Denton, so this is further out. This is a 55 plus luxury retirement community. And as you can see from some of the pictures, we've got golf course, lots. So there's plenty of things to do as far as golfing goes. I think there's tennis courts. So there's the golf course there, tennis courts, and you can play cricket. And I'm sure they have tournaments. There's lots of activities for you to do here in this particular area. There's some pools. You can see some pretty luxury or amenities that you can take advantage of. And the pricing in this community is actually very affordable. It's probably the most affordable of all of the 55 plus communities that we have here in North Texas. So they start right around the 290s. Now this is, I think, for new construction, because for resale, they actually start a little bit lower. They're in like the 240s to 250s. And a lot of times that will get you 2 beds, 2 baths on the lower end of things. If you wanted a 3rd bedroom instead of 2 bed, 2 bath, I'm sure for a little bit more money you could get that. And I think they build to suit to a certain degree, because it says it goes all the way up to the 900,000s, and which is, pretty big. It's a lot of house, I'm sure, that you get for $900,000, or it's got to be some sort of incredible view with a pool that's to the golf course, and it's like a wooded area close by or something. It's got to be like, it's got to have all, and it's probably, big as well. So I think it really kind of gives you that flexibility. I would say the HOAs are pretty, let me see if I can go back to this page. This will kind of give you an idea. So here's Robeson Ranch. It's over here, it's between Ponder and, well, no, there's Denton, sorry. Robeson Ranch is, wait a second.
Sell property out there?
I haven't, but I know several people that do. Oh, maybe this is not, yeah, this is Robeson Ranch. Sorry. I don't know why it says Denton, but the map doesn't give a good indicator of where it's located. So, so here's Denton. So it looks like Denton probably encompasses this whole area here, because Argyle and North Lake are kind of on the edge. It looks like a Denton here. But this is Robeson Ranch. I was correct. Sorry, guys. And then there's another 55 plus community in Highland Village, which is a little bit closer to the city. It looks like prices here are going to be, $500,000. This is a little bit more luxurious, excuse me. Over here on this side of town, you are closer to the city. There is more shopping available. There's the shops here. If you go to Flower Mound, there's, places to, things to eat, places to go. There's Lake Grapevine that's right here. And also the beauty of being in Highland Village is that you are really close to Lake Louisville. So if you wanted to own a boat or have a boat or have that kind of lifestyle, you could, and also be close to the city, which is why I think this is more of a luxury community. Frisco on the other side of Lake Louisville is also very similar. it probably has, you know, they're usually pretty expensive in Frisco. I would say average price, and you kind of see they've got 306,000, 479, 295. I think, and this is for 2 beds and 2 baths. So you can kind of give you an idea. This was sold, you know, not within 180 days from now, is kind of how I did my search there. So you can kind of see 326 for 1,800 square feet, 3 bed, 2 bath. And this is in a Del Webb community. Del Webb has a community here in Little Elm, and then they also have a community up here it's called Savannah. Um, and well, Little Elm and Savannah are pretty close together, just so you know. Um, this is, I guess, more of the Savannah side of things. Little Elm kind of creeps up along as the closer you get to 380. So then over closer to Aubrey, let's see, there's new construction here too. So that's the other beauty of it, is you've got 2 beds, 2 baths, brand new home for 277. I mean, that's quite a deal, you know, for if you
Um,
have a lower budget and you're wanting to build something. It's entirely possible whenever you're in that, I guess, more of a retirement community in those 55 plus areas. I think because they can offer you the 2 bed, 2 bath, I think that's really what makes it a little bit more affordable than a 3 bed, 2 bath. For whatever reason, that extra bedroom, I guess, just skyrockets the price. But that'll kind of give you a rough idea for that area. There's also a couple retirement communities in McKinney. There's one called Fireside Village, and that is it this one? No, I don't think this one was it. There, I think it's on the far north side of McKinney. So, I mean, they're probably in more of the high twos, low threes is Fireside Village, and that's in McKinney. That's kind of what you can expect there. And this is for 2 beds, 2 baths, 1,600 square feet. There's a golf course, I believe, around here as well, so that you know, this is age restricted community, so you can kind of know 2-car tandem style garage.
what are the HOA fees like in these places?
Oh, I can tell you right here. So looks like $200 a month for the HOA, which that's the other thing too. In a lot of these communities, they'll charge you quite a bit a month. So this is for the one in McKinney. Let's go back to the map so we can kind of get you a better idea of some of the other ones. So in Frisco and Little Elm, sorry, which is right next to Frisco, it's virtually Frisco. All right, so for this one, $450 a quarter. So this one's a little bit differently. So you're looking at what, 4 times 4, $1,600 a year. So a little over $100 a month for this community at the Frisco Lakes by Del Webb. So I think it just kind of varies per community and what the HOA covers and offers in that regard. There's also a new development here on the north side of McKinney, close to a community called Trinity Falls. So Trinity Falls is a big, huge master plan community in McKinney, and they have lots of golf courses and things to do. You're a little bit separated, I feel like, from the rest of McKinney. You don't have the mature trees that you see in a more established, a little bit older neighborhood. So there are little bitty, you know, baby trees that are growing, but you know, you're not going to see that big lush, I guess, foresty type feel when you go through Trinity Falls. So that's a little bit of the downside to the new construction, is that you know, I'm sure they had to cut down some trees in order to develop this particular community and area. So you are losing trees in that regard, which is it's not the greatest, not the most ideal. But this is a new construction community, and it looks like the HOAs are monthly, 120 a month. So about the same as the Frisco Del Webb community that they showed there. But just to kind of give you one more last little detail about these communities, they're sprinkled all over. Now some of this MLS data, they actually put in the map wrong. So like, I mean, there's not going to be like this right here. Someone put this in incorrectly. right over here in Capel. There's not a 55 plus community there. They put that data in incorrectly. So there's a spot over here in Flower Mound. There's 55 plus community called, where is it? So my notes here. It's called Orchid. I can't say that word. Orchid Flower. So Orchid Flower is a 55 plus community in Flower Mound. Then you have the one in Highland Village. You have Robeson Ranch, which is over here on the, it's like southwest side of Denton. Up here in this upper part of Little Elm, you have another Del Webb community, and this is called Union Park. And then over here is the Del Webb in Frisco, closer to Aubrey, and also along 380. I believe it was this one. No, it wasn't that one. There's another house. Well, I don't know where it went, but there was a house over there. And then there's a couple communities in McKinney. Now, if 55 plus is not what someone is looking for, which in most cases, I would say they're not really, a lot of people aren't looking for that specifically. I think retirees, there's a cute little village in McKinney called Adriatica Village, which is very, very popular spot for retirees because there is a senior living center for if you want to rent out an apartment there. And there's also some condos there as well. So a lot of retirees, they don't want to hassle with the yard work or the maintenance of anything exterior. And so a lot of times they will retire in a condo. In this particular village, it overlooks this cute little pond, and the whole village is based off of this a Croatian village a village in Croatia, essentially. So you get that Italian, like old school kind of feel as you go through this community. There's shops that you can walk to. I believe there's several doctors within walking distance, which is ideal for seniors wanting to be really, really close to healthcare. Usually they want to be really close to shopping, and they don't want the maintenance or the hassle when it comes to retirement. So I've seen a lot of people that are in their retirement age look for that type of criteria. Would you say that that's pretty much the same in your area, or it's a little bit different?
I think sometimes they want low maintenance, but because we're in a desert, it's really easy, or high desert, it's really easy to have, landscaping that's low maintenance. And sometimes if you're in a community that has an HOA, an association, they will care for like at least your front landscape area, and they'll remove snow, and there might be some other amenities. But the trouble is a lot of people want single level, no stairs, and we don't have a lot of condominiums. Some of the ones we have are in resorts, and so it's not necessarily the fees, and it's not really set up for full-time living. People do, but it's not typical for retired people. So I would say most of the time they're going to end up in a single family home. There are some single level townhomes in a golf community called Broken Top that's right on the west side of town. And those do sell a lot to retirees because you can still get single level. You've got someone here, do a lot of the stuff for you, and you can live in your golf community and have that sense of, they have events and they have a community center as well. And I think a lot of these communities, Bend itself has a really great, community feel. It's small enough that people are really friendly, and, you're going to get to know your neighbors anyway. So, if you are in one of those communities, I think you'll find it just even more so within like Broken Top community. They all know each other and they look out for each other. And it's, I know Texas is a friendly place, but so is Bend.
Oh, good.
Very friendly. It's shockingly friendly. If you've been in any other city, big city like Portland, which is not friendly at all.
Okay.
Like, yeah, you just put your head down and you keep walking and you don't look at anybody. And here it's like strangers that you don't know. They're like waving at you from your car, and they're
Yeah.
like, hey, and you're like, do I know you? I don't think I know you. Hey, So yeah, it's a place. No matter where you live in Bend, I think you'd find it. You find a community that you can fit into. So
I think that's probably a part of that, small town charm that smaller towns and communities offer.
mhm.
So I would say, how big is Bend? What's the population there?
We just exceeded 100,000 for the last census in 2020. So I think we're at like 105 or something, 105,000. Just big enough.
So what types of, I know you mentioned a little bit about the activities. So tell us a little bit about summer activities and winter activities,
Cool.
and we'll kind of go from there. And also, if you're watching this live and you have questions for us, feel free to type them in the chat, and either myself or Nora will get to those questions. So go ahead, Nora.
Well, like the Deschutes River goes right through town. So people do the SUP, stand-up paddleboard, paddling, or we bought kayaks last year, so we can go kayaking. Floating the river in the summer. When it's August, it gets pretty hot, like 90s. And when it's that hot, it's like great. You just stick your butt in a tube and grab your beverage. Yeah. Oh, yeah. 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 And then you can just keep doing it if you want, or it takes about, I don't know, a little over an hour and you just go right through town and you end up downtown at Drake Park, and you get out and you go back to the old mill at the south end of town. And there's a bus that'll take you, or if you have two cars, you can, kind of park one at each end and drive back and forth. But
that sounds like fun.
it is really fun, especially when it's really hot. It's the best thing. It's just so relaxing. And there used to be, before COVID, there's still an amphitheater called the Les Schwab Amphitheater right on the river. And so they'd be having a concert. So if you timed it right, you could listen to a free concert, for about 30 minutes.
That sounds cool.
Really anything outdoor. In the winter, it's skiing and snowboarding and snowshoeing and cross-country skiing. And we're very much into our dogs. So I think it's like 43% of people that live in Bend own a dog. It's really high. We love to rescue them, and we have lots of rescue groups. And so, yeah, just really anything outside, hiking. I just take my dog and go any direction really from my house. I live kind of close in, not downtown, but close to, the downtown area, and the river right there, and there's trails everywhere. So it's really just easy, access to just go do something. And that's what we do all the time. Normally also we would be at festivals and all that stuff that is not happening, sadly, now. But we're known for our beer, of course, Deschutes Brewing, and we have tons of breweries, and now we have a couple distilleries. So if you're into the hard stuff, and we have a couple of cideries. So if you drink hard cider, we have several. That's what I like. I don't like beer so much, so I like the hard cider, and we have a couple, cideries. I can't say that word. I don't know why cidery just doesn't. Yeah, so it's just non-COVID time. You're never short of something to do outdoors or something fun, event, concerts. We do have movie theaters. At the south end of town, at our big outdoor shopping area called the Old Mill.
Okay.
So, we have lots of, there's an REI, all the kind of big box stores, the Gap, Banana Republic, all that, and some other, smaller ones are all mixed into this nice outdoor shopping area that goes right by the river. And then the concert, that amphitheater is just across the river there. So I don't know. It's just ideal. I mean, the only thing that's not ideal is when I get tired of being cold in the winter. My wool sweater on, you know. It's been
Yeah,
snowing, so it's really feeling like winter now. And, you know, I just kind of endure it for the other 3 seasons that are my favorite.
yeah, yeah. So when does the winter really stop? Would you say February, March, or when do you
Uh,
stop seeing snow?
no, February, it's usually just getting going. I mean, we've had Februarys where, I mean, there's 5 feet of snow on the ground. It just depends. It's really different. Um, but we average about 30 some inches per year. Um, but it doesn't always stay on the ground and pile up. So it just depends. But usually, I would say March, it's not going to snow. Really, March is maybe some spotty.
Transition. Yeah.
It could be really heavy in February and then kind of tapers off. April, you could get some, but not likely in town. Mid the mountain might still get snow.
Yeah.
They keep it going as long as they can, and sometimes they ski on July 4th. So if they
Yeah,
can.
I was going to ask you about the skiing. So, what mountains? I know well, I know the mountain range that's over there, but
Mount
what are a
Bachelor.
couple of popular
Mount Bachelor is our ski resort.
bachelor's popular?
Yeah.
Okay, is
Um,
that the biggest one, or is there several resorts? Is it the
um,
only one?
no, Mount Bachelor is the closest.
Well, I think I'm losing you. Oh, I'm losing Nora. Take her out of the stream for a second. Let's see. Wait for it. Okay, I think you're back.
I'm back.
You're talking about the ski resorts.
Yeah, so Mount Bachelor
Okay.
is our ski resort. It's about 22 miles, I think, up the road outside of Bend. And depending on activity and traffic, you know, it can take 45 minutes or an hour to get there, but it's about 20 some miles.
Okay. North, south, east, west,
Um, West.
west.
Yeah,
Okay. So
mostly
close to the, okay.
southwest. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And so lots of skiing at Mount Bachelor. Would are there cities closer to Bachelor that people know? There's nothing in between Bend and Bachelor. Okay. Because I know in Colorado they have like, because I've been to Colorado a couple of times for skiing, and they'll have like ski in, ski out condos that are on the mountain, and then
Oh,
there'll be like a small town like Durango, and then you have Purgatory, which is right there, is kind of the mountain
mhm.
um, that people will ski in and ski out, and they have condos that are situated there, like right on the mountain. Is that similar or not so much?
No, I don't, they have lodging. There's a lodge up at the Mount Bachelor, but
Okay.
you can't live like right, ski in, ski out. The closest you could live would be somewhere west of town, like Widgie Creek. And then a few resorts. The Inn of the Seventh Mountain is a big resort that you could own a condo and you could live there full time, I guess, if you wanted. And there
Mhm.
are some homes built there also. So you could get, you know, maybe 5 miles closer up the road, but there's no ski in,
Yeah.
ski out. Yeah. Mm-mm.
Mm, mm. You
No,
got to
you got
make
to
the
get your car and drive.
yeah, you got to make the trek over there if
Mhm.
you're dedicated enough to go skiing over there. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, what was I going to tell you? So activities. So that's for Bend here in Dallas, North Dallas. Activity wise, I mean, we've got the golf courses. There are several lakes close to the cities. So we have 5 lakes that are around the city that you can, some you can go boating or sailboating. So boating, sailboating, paddleboarding, water skiing, those types of activities are available if you are close to a lake and you own a boat. So those are very popular. Fishing is also another popular pastime here. if you are close to the lake or a body of water. Unfortunately, we don't have any like winter activities. We just get like 50 degrees in winter. That's like our bonus, is that the winter is so mild that you don't have to. Like I was in this jeans jacket and a thin, dress and some leggings today, and went outside and was fine. So, but I would say that retiring here is going to be different because you're going to have like your golf courses. There's a TPG golf course over in Frisco, or not Frisco, McKinney. And then I think one of the golf, I'm going to screw this up. The golf, Major League Golf. This is so terrible. I'm awful. But the headquarters of there you go, PGA. Hello. The headquarters of the PGA is moving to Frisco. And in Frisco, with as far as sports goes, if someone is a very big sports fan, we have the Cowboys, we have the professional soccer team and soccer field in Frisco. We have the professional, so if someone is a big, like, we have the hockey team and the Dallas Stars. So if someone loves that kind of entertainment, then I would say that more of a metro area like Dallas is a better fit than further out in the country. If you're wanting that more quiet lifestyle, like I said, my mom lives in Kaufman County, close to, I can't think of the lake now. The lake that's over there in Kaufman County. And then closer to East Texas, there's another lake, and it's a little bit more peaceful out there. Smaller communities, not as much shopping as a big metro area, but you can always drive in. You're always an hour to maybe 2 hours away from.
That's way too far.
That's way too far. Well, you're not experiencing like a whole lot of stuff on the road, and this is like driving like on the highway. So it's not like you're stuck in traffic kind of driving. It's more just like road trip driving more so than anything. The other great thing about North Texas is that we are so close to Oklahoma. So a lot of the beauty and the outdoor type stuff that you can do in Oklahoma, they have the casinos up there. So if you like to gamble, you're about an hour away from Oklahoma to the casinos there, or you can drive to Louisiana and go to Shreveport if you wanted to do that. And that's about an hour and a half to 2 hours from DFW. So, everyone's lifestyle and how they want to retire is going to be different. I think we can both agree on that. And it just really depends on what you're wanting. Are you wanting all 4 seasons? Then Bend is probably a better place, right? If you're wanting, more of a warmer climate that has a mild winter, then maybe, parts of, some part of Texas is a better fit for you. Affordability wise, we kind of talked about that, how, Texas is more affordable, but that shouldn't be your only reason for moving. I think that's really important note to make to those who are retiring. You shouldn't be choosing a place just because it's, affordability wise. If that's the only thing, now if you have to, that's one thing. If you're finances. But if you don't have to and you have the choice, don't make that the be all end all, I think, of that choice. Do you have anything to add about that?
It's more than just a spreadsheet. The numbers are important, but also, especially in your retirement years, are you going to enjoy, being there and the community and the lifestyle and just everything in the area. So, yeah.
All right. Well, we're pretty much past the hour. So I wish we had a couple more questions. Sometimes people are firing off questions, which is nice, but I think we had a pretty good chat, and we hope that this is very helpful to someone who's considering making a move wherever direction it's taking them. So Nora's information I'm going to have in the description if you want to reach out to her, or you can just reach out to me directly and I can connect you with her. Even if you wanted a vacation rental, if that was your thing and you wanted a vacation, and then I can send you Nora's information too. So I know vacation rentals, to me, I'm excited about that kind of thing. So probably on future live streams, we'll be talking about vacation rentals and how to choose a good vacation rental as an investment and just kind of go from there. But thank you so much
Thanks for having me.
Wednesday night with a Texan, and tell your husband I said hey.
I will.
So, sure. And we're gonna wave goodbye.
Right. Bye.
Everybody. Michelle says we appreciate both your time. Thank you, Michelle. Thanks for sticking through and watching us. All right, you guys have a good night.